And as we close, let me tell you this. That what made Dr. King as effective as he was is he believed in a higher power. One of the reasons Reverend Lamar, the pastor here, Reverend Lamar, is here. One of the reasons I asked Reverend Lamar to let us do this in this church is in this church. In 1895, they had Frederick Douglass's funeral.
Well,
on this church. This church, they brought Rosa Parks back. Bible said, remove not the ancient landmarks. I wanted us to make our oath right in the same rock that sent Frederick Douglass home, that sent Rosa Parks home. This is sacred ground. I want us to stand in sacred ground and promise that we're not going to let nobody turn us down. Dr. King believed in a higher power. And every once in a while in history, we're tested. And Trump is nothing but a test.
a test. Yeah.
He's a test to our collective communities. He's a test to whether we can get past our sectarian differences and our philosophical disputes. He's a test as to whether we can get past our egos on who gonna get the most time in the news or who got the biggest followers on social media. It's a test. And I end by, since Lamar's here, I gotta be biblical a minute. I don't want him to say I didn't respect his pulpit. I often talk about the story. There was the war between, the battle between the Philistines and the Israelites. And in those days, they used to get up the mail on two hills and send down one from each of the opposing armies. And they would duel, and whoever won, that was the winner. The Philistines had this particular year a giant, 7 foot tall, had a sword that was so heavy he had to have an armor-bearer carry. And he came down in the mid-place and challenged the Israelites. Said, send me one of yours, just send me one. He said, I'll make a deal with you. He said, if you kill me, whoever you send, will be your slave. But if I kill you, then you become mine. And this big giant threatened him. He had all the power, he had all the strength. He appeared omnipotent. And all of the Israelites who've been trained in warfare, who've been to boot camp, who've been given the skills of war mission, but they was afraid to fight this giant. But there was a little boy. He wasn't even in the army. His daddy sent him to run an errand to his brother. And while he was running the errand, he heard about this giant. And he said, who is this giant that defies the gods of Abraham and Isaac? If nobody will fight him, I'll fight him. His brothers told him, you be quiet, you can't fight, you ain't been to boot camp, you ain't had no training. He said, that's true, I'm just a shepherd boy. But I didn't have a degree in nothing else. But one day I looked up and a lion and a bear had grabbed my father's sheep. I didn't have a degree in lion fighting.